start the story. Basically, the pastime taking place here, after Krishna left this world, Arjuna took all the queen from Dwarka and he brought them to Mathura. So they live with Bhajan, their great-grandson. Bhajan, Krishna's son is Pradyumna, his son Danaru, and his son Bhajan. He installed Madhamadan Mohan, Nagovinda, Gopinath deity, and also 13 other deities in Brahma in this country. So, as they were living with Bhajan in Mathura, it was very difficult for them. There was very much separation. But they could notice that Jamuna Devi, she was always very happy. And they could understand, she was also Krishna's wife, Krishna Mari Kevindi, Jamuna. So they were thinking, well, like us, Krishna's wife, we're always crying in separation, and she's always very happy. So she understands something we don't understand. So we should humbly approach her and ask her for some help. Then they went to speak with her, and the answer she gave them was this one. She said, well, the reason I'm always very happy because I'm always engaged in Shri Krishna's service. The Jamuna Devi is actually an expansion of Vishakha Devi. Vishakha Devi expanded the Jamuna to facilitate Krishna's pastime in Braj. So Vishakha Devi, she is just the gopi, the eternal associate. So the eternal associate is never any separation from Krishna. They are always serving Radha Krishna. Then Jamuna told the queen, actually, you also allowed me to see the gopi also. Because when Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura and Dwarka, 16,108 gopi, including Srimati Radharani, they took the form of queen to be with Krishna in this pastime in those two other places. So Jamuna told them, so originally, he also was with Krishna, but now because of Yoga Maya, you don't understand this. Now you identify yourself to be one of the Queen of Krishna. Now Krishna is gone, so now you're feeling this separation. So then she told them, when Krishna left Vrindavan, the Vijayadasi, they also had much separation. So Krishna sent Uddhav to the Vijayadasi, and Uddhav spent 3-4 months with them, and he came with many messages. The first message was about philosophy, knowledge, and different kinds of meditation to remember Krishna. But the Vijayadasi, they told that Uddhav is trying to teach us how to remember Krishna. We cannot forget Krishna. He's trying to teach us how to remember, and we go back to Radha. But Uddhav had more messages, they were more personal, more intimate, so he hung around and basically he told them the message. But more or less what he did is when Krishna left to go to Mathura and Dwarka, he told the Vijayadasi, don't worry, I will deliver Vasudeva and Devaki, and 2 days come back. But 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, no Krishna. So the Vijayadasi, they were thinking, well, Krishna has a new friend, a new lover. He doesn't need us anymore, he's abandoned us. And the Vijayadasi, they live only for one reason. Their whole existence is dedicated to bring pleasure to Shri Krishna. But now Krishna is gone, so what does he use of their life? It's like us also, if we want to become one of the Vijayadasi, one of the devotees of Krishna, there can only be one desire in the heart. Is that by my activity, I can bring some pleasure for Radha Krishna. As long as I seek something for myself, the door to Goloka will never open. I can go all over to Vaikuntha. Krishna's millions of form, I can be promoted there, or to go to Goloka. Actually, Prabhupada tells us, it takes pure unalloyed devotional service. Nothing for myself, only Radha Krishna's pleasure. So Uddhav told the Vijayadasi, no, Krishna does not forget you. Every night when he's sleeping with his queen, he's mentioning you, his name in his dream. When he meets me, Balaram, Umaduru, in the day, he's always speaking about me in the Vijayadasi. Actually, he's thinking so much me, also with you. You're going to go with him, he's also going to go with you. But first he will finish his duty, but very soon he will come back to you. Then the Vijayadasi now, they felt somebody, but now they understood Krishna still loves us. And very soon he's coming back to us. And they were able to maintain their life. But then the queen, Jamuna says to the queen, so if you meet Uddhav, he can also help you. And the queen said, well, where is Uddhav? From where we came here, where Uddhav went, we don't know. Jamuna told them, well, after Uddhav left the Vidavasi, he only had one desire, to be born in grass, as a grass, a creeper, a plant. So as the gopi will walk by, he will get the dust of their feet on his head. And he could achieve that love there for Krishna. So Uddhav understood the word Dharya's devotee. One story showing that the guy is devotee. One time Krishna was in Dwarka, he had severe headache, and many doctors came to cure him, but they could not cure him. So Krishna told his associates, the only one thing we cure him is the dust from the feet of my devotee. So Narada Muni was there, so he says, no problem, he was in Dwarka, so he approached the Yadu dynasty and asked them. They looked at him, are you crazy? Krishna's Bhagavan, and that's my feet on his head, I've been going through hell so many lifetimes. So Narada said, Narayan. And he went to the Pandava, it's the same thing, and he went all over the universe. And everybody more or less said the same thing. So they all devotee, but not fully surrendered yet. Because they consider what would happen to me. They did not consider my Krishna devotee, but not pure. So then Narada says, well, let me go to Braj. He comes to Braj and he explains the situation to the gopi. And right away the gopi, they take bucket and start throwing dust over their feet and give it to Narada. And Narada said, well, you only simple village girl, I can see you don't understand, I speak your Krishna, this is Bhagavan. The dust of your feet going there, you be going to hell for so many lives. The gopi, they look at that, Narada and say, okay, my Krishna is very happy, that's all that to us. Then Uddhav understood, the desires the Krishna, so this is my soul desire. So when Uddhav asked Krishna, at that time Krishna spoke Uddhav Vidya. Same knowledge he speaks to Arjuna Bhagavad Gita, he speaks to Uddhav Gita, they even came to Moshman Bhajan. At that time Uddhav asked Krishna for his benediction to be born at Braj there. So Krishna told him, well, my dear Uddhav, I am Parameshwara, but whatever is in man is doing, it's only by grace and to Braj. What I suggest to you, you can go to Badarika Ashram, there you do some austerity. And now this knowledge I just spoken to you, you will meet many devotees, so you share this knowledge with them. So Uddhav is a witnesses and he went to Badarika Ashram and he was there for some time doing those two activities. But not too long after, Krishna arranged for him and all the Yadu dynasty to leave this world. Then at that time, Srimati Radharani actually allowed Uddhav to come and live in Braj. And he came to settle in the Kusum Sarovar and as a grass. And he's still here too. And there's a benediction, if anybody comes there, that is Bhajan, some kirtan, and Uddhav actually become clean with Uddhav in the ocean, he will give you darshan. Jamuna told the queen, well, you don't go to Kusum Sarovar. You start from kirtan, surely when you Uddhav in the ocean, you will attract him and you will give his darshan. The queen, they gave her many thanks, and they went to speak with Parishit and Bhajan. They both agreed, and with many devotees, they all came here to Kusum Sarovar. And they started the kirtan. 16,100 queens. Krishna had 16,100 queens, but the first 8 queens, when Krishna left this world, they did sati, they entered fire. So remaining 16,100, they came here. And the chief queen in that group, her name was also Ruhi, it was a different Ruhi. So they came here with Parishit and many devotees, they started the kirtan. And after 2 days, so the Uddhav did become clean with devotion. So from being a creeper, he actually took Uddhav form again. Then he spoke with Parishit Maharaj. Because in the Karma Kanda, there's many different benefits you can get from even speaking from Uddhav. He described all those things, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, the Brahman, but he said, most important, he said that can you Krishna in this pastime are own manifest. Meaning, when Krishna was there 5,000 years ago, pure, not pure, everybody could see Krishna. The 99% people could not understand he was Bhagavan, but they could see him, they could see his pastime. But not too long after, when Krishna finished his pastime here, he goes to some other universe. So the leader becomes home manifest, Aprakat leader. So, Uddhav also, he told Parishit, so in Kali Yuga, there's only one way for us to gain Krishna's association, and this is Saddhabra. Saddhabra means pure transcendental soul vibration. Bhagavan Shri Krishna first spoke of the Saddhabra to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma spoke to Narada, Narada to Vyasadeva, all the way down to us to the true Parampara. So the Saddhabra basically means all Vedic instruction. And that includes all the writing, all the different acharya, because they explain the Vedas. The Goswami, Mahamantra, any Vedic mantra, this is all Saddhabra. It's not from this world. So, and these Vedic instruction, actually they only have one purpose. It's to free us from illusion and material attachment, and we can understand what is our real identity, and thus cultivating a relationship with Krishna, we go backward into the spiritual world. So if you could say this in regard to the instruction, there's 3 steps. First step, we should find some advanced Vaishnava, Guruji, and basically ask him to speak with us and to us. And the next step, we should try our best to understand them, who are proved again Vaishnava, to make it very clear what's the meaning of this instruction. And if we cannot really fully understand, we will not be able to apply them. We can see now many devotees, they've been engaged in devotional activities for 25, 30, 40 years. The progress is very slow, almost severe. Why? Because they don't really understand the instruction. Because even if you have goodness in the heart, it doesn't matter how many anointing you have in your heart, if you actually understand the instruction, you will apply them and gradually be. So, in that direction, I will speak another time to the Queen for 1 month. But you cannot stay, you have to go. And my precious started crying, or why are you changing your way? As long as you came here to get new mercy. So Dad told him, well, at this time, the influence of Kali Yuga is very prevalent, very strong. So you should go and subdue Kali, decrease this influence. When he said, don't worry, later on you will meet Sukadeva, and Sukadeva will speak another time for you. Now it's not your time yet, go finish your duty. So Maharaj said to the princess and left, and Dad started speaking another time to the queen. And after a few days, as they were leaving, that's when they started to see Krishna in his pastime. It's almost like as they were hearing, like they were watching a movie. And a few days later, from watching the movie, they became actors of the movie. More or less, as Krishna first allowed them to see the pastime, then he revealed to them the original position as just in the movie, and they were into the video of Krishna. Krishna lifted the curtain, and they were able to understand their original position. And after 1 month, when that finished speaking from the time, they left this called to the behind, and they went back to the Krishna. But this pastime actually takes place in another category. And this category, Shrimad Bhagavatam tells us that Arjuna also takes Queen from Dwarka, but he's bringing them to Hastinapur. And then on the way, he gets attacked by some decoys, and they kidnap the Queen. And Arjuna is crying because he's Kshatriya, but he could not get protection of the Queen. He's saying, the same Arjuna, had the same Lord Prabhu, the Kusum war defeated so many great warriors, but he's the same for the Koya, I could not do nothing. But he's crying, because he cannot protect the Queen. So Vishwanath Chakravarti explained, he gives 2 reasons why Arjuna could not protect the Queen. First reason, he explained that Krishna wanted to teach Arjuna, to teach us, so that without Krishna, we nothing. Because in that war, Dronacharya, Bhishmadev, Karna were much more powerful than Arjuna. He could never defeat it. By Krishna's grace, he got able to do so. The second reason Vishnu has to cover to here is that the court was Krishna. So in Samadhikalpa, that is the Krishna, the direct explanation of Krishna. His personification of all Krishna's pastime, his personification of all transcendental knowledge. So in some kalpa, Krishna is Uddhav, he's the queen, and bring them back to Guru. In some other kalpa, he comes to the boy, kidnap them and bring them back to Guru. So like that. So we got earlier we spoke about the Vedic instruction that our Acharya are giving us. And basically is to remove, the purpose is to remove material attachment and illusion from our consciousness. So one question we have to ask ourselves, do I really want to be with Krishna in this life? Do I really want to be with Krishna? Now I've been hearing about Krishna for 10, 15, 20 years, but do I really want to be with Krishna in this life? If the answer is yes, then actually the next question is, well, what's stopping me from going to Krishna? And there's only one thing, is material attachment. So then the Acharya giving different approach how to be free from material attachment. The first and most important is constant hearing. Again, this Sadabram. And this Sadabram is so powerful that even if we're not listening attentively, even if we don't understand the language, even while we're sleeping, even if I'm doing some work I'm not paying attention about, but if it's going there, it's purifying my heart. Of all the devotional meditation we can do, it's the easiest and the most efficient. Actually purify our heart. Now, I'm not sure why we're chanting this also Sadabram. Because we're not pure, we don't know, but still, it's coming from the spiritual world, and gradually we purify our heart. So, basically, this constant hearing, this Lakshapa tell us, Krishna has given us those 2 years and 24 hours, we should hear, and we should. I mean, like I said, it's easy. Now with technology, we can be hearing 24 hours a day, no problem. I mean, if we search about going to Krishna, we definitely should get 24 hours a day. We should arrange our life, it's not that hard we can do. And these instructions, if once we have received them from our Gurudev, actually we have to try our very best to follow them. Because number 3 offenses is to disobey your religious responsibility more or less not to follow the instruction. So the only one way for us will be able to dedicate ourselves to follow his instruction. First, you could say before choosing Guru, we should have firm faith that this person actually will take me to Hare Krishna. Then, out of gratitude, because this person is so kind, actually it's going to bring me to Hare Krishna, then I offer my whole life to his Krishna. If I don't have this conviction, then many times we give me instruction, but I may not follow, I may follow, may not follow, and this is Namaparad, which means we will not progress spiritually. As long as we're chanting Namaparad spiritually, we will not progress. This is one offense. And most devotee, you could say, to chant 16 rounds for most devotees, it's a struggle, it's a difficult task. It's many devotees to chant 16 rounds, it's hard, we cannot do it easily. Why? Because they have no taste. Why they have no taste? Because they chant Namaparad. And there's 10 offenses in your name, and again we should analyze each one of them, understand them, and then try to avoid them, and see which one I'm committed. And for most devotees, especially you could say from the Western world, there's no need to be Vaishnava Parad. And number 3, basically to disobey the instructions to the master, to consider him an ordinary human being. But the one everybody is struggling with is to be attentive while chanting your name, and to maintain mental attachment after understanding so many instructions on this matter. So, how can we avoid inattention? Why are we inattentive? Because we're not anchored to Krishna. We're anchored to fulfill, still above fulfilling our sense of education in this world. If we actually anchored to Krishna, then our mind is on Krishna by chanting. But if I'm not developed attachment to be with Krishna, then how can I always bring my mind back toward Him? So the Acharya basically telling us this, to develop this attachment, it comes two ways. By associating with those who have this attachment and constant hearing. Because this constant hearing, like Jamuna Prabhu, it will clean the mirror of the heart. And gradually, as the mirror of the heart becomes clean, we will actually start to appreciate Krishna's beauty, His form, His quality, His pastime, His entourage. And as we start to appreciate this, then we'll actually lose state for taking this world. This is what Srila Prabhupada described as developing higher taste. And unless we develop this higher taste, we will not be able to give up material attachment. This attachment and desire cannot be removed from the heart. We can only change the quality. Now we attach to so many things in this world, whether it's gross attachment, subtle attachment. But the only way we're able to become free from this material attachment is by becoming attached to that Krishna. The more we hear, the more we associate with the Vaishnava that have attachment to Krishna. Because association is actually like it's a mystical thing. Whoever we associate with, that's what we become. So we should try our best how we associate with Advaita Vaishnava, and very quickly we can also become Vaishnava. Like some people tell us that if one actually get a nice Vaishnava association, in this chanting sincerely joining, 2-3 months you can achieve Krishna Pranam. Not 2-3 years, not 20 years, or 30 years, not 2-3 lifetimes, 2-3 months. But for this, you have to wait over the system. So, like Srila Prabhupada tells us, our chanting should be like a child praying with his mother. And so we have to come, like one young devotee one time asked me, well, how can I avoid mechanical chanting? I said, well, when we really understand how far we actually are, then we will try for it. Then it will never be mechanical. If we have at least some intellectual understanding, I want to be with Krishna, because I don't have attachment yet, but that's what that sounds like. Prabhupada said, if you keep hearing about how nice it is, then you have the desire to go there. So the more we hear about Krishna's pastimes, we will also feel some attraction to experience this. So if we, as we're chanting, the mood of the day is like a prayer to Hare Krishna. To grant us this actually devotional service is a privilege. Krishna can give and take away as you want. He's independent. We have to endeavor, but when you will give, that's up to you. So basically, it's Acharya telling us when we chanting everything. The first step in our progress, evolution, while chanting your name, should be only to twirl the mantra. Only you. Not thinking about Krishna, not looking at the picture, not thinking about his pastime, not thinking about his associate, simply you. And as Krishna will become pleased with us, the first thing he will reveal to us is his form. And once Krishna reveals his form to us, then we will become, basically Krishna will captivate our mind. Basically, then we will encourage more to be with him. So then our chanting at this point will not be inattentive anymore, will not be mechanical. And next step, Krishna will reveal us his quality. So Krishna has 64 qualities, and each quality you could say is an aspect of his personality. Like Prabhupada say, naturally we attract to people that have great personality. So when we are able to see Krishna in the 64 quality, we are able to see actually a greater person Krishna is. Then this will even more increase my attachment, my increase to you again. And next Krishna will reveal to us his entourage, his associate. Then I will be able to see how Krishna deals with so many devotees, the diversity of his relationship. And I will feel some, you could say, some affinity to one of those relationships, one of these wrestlers. And then all these ingredients will combine together and Krishna will reveal to us his pastime. Then Krishna will actually reveal to us our spiritual identity and our service. So when we're not chanting, we should remember Krishna, we should look at Krishna's picture, we should hear about his pastime, we should meditate on him. But when we're chanting, we should not be doing it. Because at our present time, you could say, our consciousness is on a mundane platform. So to try to impose with a mundane consciousness, to try to see Krishna with it, that we try to impose a mundane reality on the spiritual reality, and actually it's against it. We cannot grasp the essence of the spiritual reality. We're trying to impose an image on it, but it's not who Krishna is. So, like I say, we can read here the pastime. It's like we could say a simple example. First, we take some food, then we rest, then we work. So this taking food is reading about Krishna's pastime, hearing about Krishna's pastime, talking about Krishna's pastime. Is different physical this again. Anything in relation to Krishna. Doing some say, well, this is how taking food. And this, while we're doing this, the next step is to take rest. This means meditating, contemplating. Those two activities will actually increase our intimacy with Krishna. So when we're chanting, we have the right mood. If we're not attracted to Krishna, then how can we be attentive and chanting? So the more we hear about Krishna, the more we will become attracted to him. Then, like I said, those first two steps, taking food, resting, like hearing about Krishna, contemplating, meditating on him, they will bring us the right move when we're chanting. Chanting is the work. And while we work, we take food, we rest, we work. Chanting is really there. So this is only one Acharya seems to be describing a little different path, but he does say, if someone that you're not able to concentrate, if your mind is too crazy, you cannot concentrate your mind on hearing the name, then you can look at the picture. But it's the only one Acharya. All of the Acharya are very strict about it. When we chant, we should hear the name. Because everything's in the name. Krishna name from different from Krishna. You could say, in Gaudiya Sampradaya, there's two approaches, two different ways your spiritual identity can be revealed to you. One is considered to be the internal path, one is considered the external path. What you could say, like ISKCON, Gaudiya, and some of the other Vaishnava following is considered the internal path. Internally, through chanting the Holy Name, by the mercy of Guru and Vaishnava, everything is revealed from inside. You don't have to imagine, you don't have to try to impose something. As you are become purified, the Holy Name will reveal itself to you. The other path basically is some devotee, a prayer from Sampradaya, they giving Siddhapanani to their disciple, 11 characteristics, they have to meditate on this, Nidasmarana and all this. The aim is the same, is to go back to Krishna. But the thing is that we cannot use, not that we cannot use, if we try to use our intellect and imagination to approach Krishna. Because Krishna can only be, you could say, perceived when you reveal himself. It's like when we study Shastra, Shrutra, and the Goswami developed so many words, so many fine details, how to do this, do this, do this. It's step by step. But the main purpose is just like Bhajan said, is that it's for, because people have different, you could say, attitude, mentality. So for the kind of people that have kind of like an intellectual mind, while they're reading about all the different things, and they keep thinking about Krishna. They're not thinking about right. Like Siddhanta said, when we're studying Shastra, he says, we should give up the endeavor to use the intellect to understand what the Prince said. Because we understand from Shastra, people can study Shastra all their life and they still will never realize Krishna. It's only when Krishna becomes filled with devotion that we reveal himself. So the main purpose in studying all those Shastras, reading all those Shastras, is to really, so we become absorbed in remember Krishna and actually relishing the topic of Krishna consciousness. It's the same thing when Bhajan discuss the topic about Krishna, not so much thinking. This maybe there a little bit to get a deeper understanding, but it's mainly to, so our minds on Krishna, not thinking about Maya. But why are we thinking about Krishna? It's purifying the heart. When I think about Maya, this is not purifying the heart. It's like if we say the mind is like a receiver, and there's two channels, Maya channel and Krishna channel. And Maya channel has many programs, Krishna channel has many programs. So what has to increase is our awareness when we go from one channel to the other. Because most people are not aware. There's actually a shift of consciousness. They with the devotee, the consciousness go up, and they go with the devotee, the consciousness go down, but they're not aware actually, they're only going through the motion. So this awareness has to increase. And more or less it was Srila Prabhupada had asked, one who is Krishna conscious, he's peaceful, he's happy. So sometimes with a certain devotee, I go to Kirtan every class, and then I feel actually some relaxation, it makes me feel better. It means I'm getting a glimpse of what Krishna consciousness is. But then I leave the session in devotee, and involved in this and this, and by the way, my mind is disturbed, this anxiety, this tension, I think about my wife, my kid, and all this. At that time we should understand we're listening to one of the programs on the right channel. Like I say, devotee, Krishna consciousness means to have a peaceful heart. So as soon as my heart is peaceful, then it's like I should understand and listen to them. Maya is trying to catch my attention, capture my mind. It's like, and this anxiety in the heart is like iron bell. Beep, 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 something is wrong. As soon as I start to feel something like that in my heart, I have to understand that Krishna consciousness. And simply what I have to do is to actually, very simple, try to remember Krishna, his pastime, his associate, his quality, his form. Actually, Prabhupada tell us, if you start in the room, turn the light on, and you don't have to do extra endeavor to chase the darkness away. It goes, automatically goes. As soon as you remember Krishna, it will go. So this, we have to practice while we're chanting. If we can be this aware while we're chanting, when our mind goes, Maya tries to bring us to listen to one of our program, and right away, we cannot suppress Maya. She's much more clever than us. She can play games with that. But we have to endeavor to remember Krishna. That's all. But if you start to, you could say, argue with Maya, she will defeat you. No problem. But if we simply have enough intelligence that the Acharya is saying out, we can start to remember Krishna. But that's what it means to picture to the that's what it means to picture to Krishna. At that time, you can picture Krishna in Maya looks. So, if we are able to do this when we're chanting, if we cannot do this, why we chanting? When we're not chanting, then we have no chance against it. As we be going away from this devotee Maya, we can play with our mind actually. But if we practice, like Arjuna told Krishna, Krishna told him, well, you should try to control the mind. And Arjuna told Krishna, well, I try to control the mind, not possible. But Krishna told him, yes, Arjuna, you can do by constant practice. So, as we sit down and chant, our attention shall will be to hear the name. And as soon as my mind starts to take me on a tangent, then I have to try to use my intelligence to bring my consciousness back to remember Krishna. And basically, the more we do this, then the easier will become for us to keep the mind focused. Because in meditation, because it is different step. First step, basically, okay, we have to hear the name, but it's not like it's a vague thing. But the moment we hear the name, once Krishna reveals his form to us, then it will become easier to meditate. We have to be patient. Because to be the beginning of our devotional life it's actually not an easy position. Because we're trying to give up that sense enjoyment, and yet we're not really showing Krishna consciousness. Like we are in a dry place. So it's not easy. That's why it's hard for us to give up that sense enjoyment. Because yet we're not really showing Krishna consciousness. But if we keep associating with those who are really showing Krishna consciousness, then this transition will become easier. It will be easier for us actually to make the change. Because that's not simply what we have to do is to change. Actually, Prabhupada told us basically the body doesn't grow, it's constantly changing. So actually the only way we can improve our consciousness is by changing our consciousness. So now our consciousness, 99% of the jiva in this world, more or less they absorb into fulfilling the full propensity of the living being. Eating, sleeping, maintaining the energy. This is the consciousness 99% of the world and material world. So those on the spiritual path, they should rate about this. For one thing, one on the spiritual path, you should have full faith that Krishna will maintain. Krishna is the one living being maintaining all other living beings. If I think, well, I have wife and children, I have to maintain them, then it wasn't Krishna. Because only Krishna maintains all jiva. You're not maintaining your wife, you're not maintaining your children. Your only duty as a father, husband, mother is to give proper guidance to your children, and then you become devotee. Everything else, when your child was born, it's already decided by his karma and destiny what you will get. That you endeavor, this much money you're supposed to get, whether you endeavor or not, it will come to you. So this is already predestined. How many by karma from previous life activities? So if we realize this, then we can actually dedicate 100% of our attention to try to progress spiritually. We don't have to spend most of our day thinking, oh, I can make money, oh, what can I do that needs and all this. It's like, if I see this house as my house, this is my attachment, and it's time to meet this world. If I see this woman as my wife, it's that again attachment and I'm meet this world. If I see my child, this young child as my child, it's again my meet this world. But if I see this house as Krishna's house, I'm only living in Krishna's house, so I should use it in Krishna's service. My wife, I'm Krishna's eternal servant, my wife is Krishna's eternal servant, my kids are Krishna's eternal servant. So we should assist one another to progress spiritually. So it's just a matter of the situation is the same. Simply have to change the consciousness. From the mundane reality, we have to bring a consciousness to a higher plane, because that we Krishna's eternal servant. And as such, in the spiritual world, we will all be assisting one another in serving Hare Krishna. So we should try to start to meditate. And basically, devotional service basically means service. If we know the platform to serve Krishna now, then we should serve the devotee. Husband serve, wife and children, mother serve, husband and children, children serve the parent. And we have Ditya down there, and they try to fit everything so that we can cultivate this Sarava. So unless we develop the Sarava, we cannot integrate. There is 5 rasa, and basically each rasa involves some different service when we're relating to Krishna. So if we don't have the service attitude, how can we enter this reality to be with Krishna? Because this seva, basically, it's what's leading us to Krishna. It's what's allowing us to associate with Krishna. Nothing else we do. This is using Krishna's unique in that way, that true seva can actually associate with Krishna. So seva is not a duty. Krishna is actually what will help us to fulfill a more serious desire. So as I'm increasing my attachment to Krishna, and my ability, my capacity in serving Krishna will also increase. Like I remember when Sannyasi told us in one class one time, our limit in serving Krishna is only in our capacity to desire to serve it. The more we want to serve Krishna, the more he will provide us with whatever we do. I've seen in my life, I've seen devotees, others in life, even the way we are so they actually fully surrender. And they want all purpose but they give to share Krishna with people, because this is our main duty is to share Krishna. As we progress spiritually, the more we progress, the more we are able to share Krishna with others, to give Krishna to others. So, family Grihastha, basically this is main duty of Grihastha, to make a student devotee, and Shastra says to distribute prasad. And I make program that you could develop in the vilas to get exposed to Krishna consciousness. And if we start to actually act on this platform, then we start to realize Krishna consciousness. Then all this material things is really for us to get to it. And once you start appreciating something at a higher value, nothing of a lower value, naturally you will be interested. So this seva basically in the spiritual world, there is more or less 5 main types of relationship we can achieve with Krishna and Guru. We have to understand actually that bhakti is simply loving emotional exchange between Krishna and his devotee. That's all it is. And if you read Krishna in his pastime, even with the devotee, then most of it is verbal exchange. Yeah, you read Bhajan, you should read Krishna's pastime. Most 90% of it is verbal exchange with Krishna and devotee. Very little physical contact. Most 90% no, this is emotional, loving emotional exchange. With the Gopa, yes, it's equality of emotional exchange. With Mother Yashoda and the elderly Gopi and another Gopa is different kind of emotion. So each rasa has a very wide range of emotion. But each rasa also has one permanent emotion. That's what they call Sanskrit steta, basically means permanent emotion. So as we will progress spiritually, we will actually develop an affinity, some attraction to one of the rasa. And basically, if I'm going to be a Gopa, so this emotion to be a friend of Krishna, this is permanent. Many other emotions will come and go, and then influence this main emotion, but this main emotion will always stay. This is what stabilizes. So basically, as we read Krishna's pastime, as our heart becomes a little more purified, and we are able to appreciate Krishna's beauty, pastime, and Torah. And at one point, you can say, when I read some of those pastimes, some specific pastime, some deep emotion would come to my heart. Other pastimes are really smart, but it's not very triggering anything. But at one point I would actually feel, let's say, this is Krishna pastime in the Gopura, I really feel that this is very like intuiting me, enlightening me. And I pretty much can assert that this is my eternal appreciation of Krishna. At one point of our devotional progress, we should start to feel this emotion. And once it becomes clear to us, actually that's how we like to relate to Krishna, then we should only read about his to be a Gopa and the pastime of Krishna with the Gopa. Not to read about the Gopi, not to read about Nanda Bhagavad and Yashoda, only read the Gopa. The Acharya telling us what we meditate on in this life is who we achieve next life. Like I was saying earlier, basically there's two paths to achieve spirituality, and the path you could say that you see like the Bhajan and other part of the Sampradaya they're following, they're meditating on the specific rasa. So this rasa is to become a mandari. So their mind is absorbed in becoming a mandari. But as long as we have material desire, we will not be able to accept that reality. As long as we have some income in the world, we will not be allowed to enter. We cannot enter that reality. So first step is the grace to become free from all that, so that has to be allowed. Basically, which means the first level of chanting is Namaparad. As long as we do Namaparad, basically, spiritually we can have progress. But what Namaparad will do, it will fulfill all the material desire, but also it will free us from those material desire. Eventually, the name will bring us to goodness. And then goodness, then as we intelligence, the knowledge to understand what's favorable and what's not favorable, what isn't favorable. Unless I can understand what's favorable to my spiritual life, then I cannot really direct my life, I can progress very quickly. But when one comes to goodness, one that it may seem common goodness is one that has knowledge. You understand this is spiritual work, it's not your work, this is what I think to do this. Knowledge also means basically like one in knowledge before he acts, he understands the result of it. Compassion, ignorance, out of impulse, I will go through the motion. Then after I'm very not consider what I've done. I feel so much running for myself. But in goodness, no, goodness before you act, you should understand it. Then you can progress spiritually. And if you can apply this onto the mental platform, then you will even progress faster. Because what we think, what we contemplate on the mental platform will manifest on the gross platform. So if we can have this much control of the mental platform, then we can avoid ourselves so many detours. Krishna is like the highway, but we take so many side roads to go there. But if we can control the mind, accelerate on that level, then so many things we will not have to do. So this will speed up our progress. So basically, it's Namaparad will gradually bring us to goodness, and then actually we will become free from material action. Then we will come to Namabhas. Namabhas, then gradually, in the Namabhas platform, then I will become firmly established on what they call Brahmavita platform. Brahmavita platform, different acharyas need to be a little different, liberation. That's what it means. And different acharyas seems to be different angle, what is mukti, what is Brahmavita. But Prabhupada's main definition seems to be giving is simply to realize that Krishna is the most good. Like he explained at Jamuna Jivana Prabhu, basically, like different people pursuing spiritual life try to achieve mukti, and they do so much fast, so much for this faster, and it takes many lives to achieve. So Prabhupada says, but Jamuna Prabhu just have that just to come hiding in the person again, you get he says it's not that complicated. So once basically from everything like that, start viewing the faster, and this, you could say, this understanding, this conviction actually that the certain decide to observe and more, become more reality. So then, once you start to identify with the servant, then it will be easy for you to become free from all bodily designation and all material attachment. As long as I'm not entertaining with the body, I cannot give up material attachment. As long as I think I am this material body and I'm Joe Washington from Canada, whatever, it means I will not be able to be free from material attachment. So once I actually intellectually we should understand Krishna eternal servant, and then we should, like Prabhupada said, once we realize this, then the real activity starts. Then we can become engaged in devotional activities. Bhajan Kriya. Bhajan Kriya basically, activity, karma, will be removed from the heart one by one. And we have to understand that as long as we maintain this material attachment, we cannot enter this spirituality reality. Like at this time, we may be struggling with one specific anartha. And until I get deep realization why I should remove this anartha and remove it, I will not progress spiritually. It will bring slowly it will bring me to good end, but still not that far. I cannot get the realization, sati realization of saying that I'm spiritual and all this. So Naladas will also basically one who's chant Naladas, like it's guaranteed yes you mukti. But mukti is devotee don't aspire to get mukti. Devotee they want to achieve mukti, bhakti, to be with Krishna. So, and most devotees without knowing actually they're seeking mukti. Because actually they're chanting for what? The cessation of the suffering. If we aren't asked for ourselves, more people are chanting, why would we enter this path of devotional life? Because we want to stop material suffering. So actually we're not, our motivation or our chanting or activity is not so much to please Krishna, it's simply to be ourselves. So if we want to do with Krishna, then we have to transcend this. Like the movie, with their mother, father, and child, all sexual combination, and they're not how much suffering they had to go through. They gave the whole existence to Krishna. So if we want to become one of them, we also have to develop this mood. If they're living us in the way, we have to move. And the faster we move it, the faster we move with Krishna. So it's a personal decision for all of us. Like I said at the beginning, do whatever you want to do with Krishna. If it's yes, then I have to make no serious decision in my life. As long as we don't make those serious decisions, we may take. It's guaranteed we're going to Radha Krishna. Now that we have entered the process in the Holy Service, it's guaranteed we're going to Krishna. It's just a matter of how many lives we want to take. But if we want this life, we can do it. At the end of this life, we can become eligible to do Hare Krishna. More or less, you can say Vrindavan has two qualities. One quality is the original Guru Vrindavan, the spiritual world, and manifests in the material world as Goku Vrindavan or Goku Vrindavan. And this has two qualities. One is Apakatmika and Prakatmika. They say there's millions of universe, and Krishna in this form as Krishna now is in one universe. So this universe is considered like Prakatmika, the universe manifested now. Many other universe Krishna was, and the universe he will be, so this is considered home manifest. Now we are in one the universe where it's considered home manifest last time. And until we don't have one desire in our heart, that my activity, I can bring some pleasure to Hare Krishna, then I would have to stay in this, the present universe that I'm in. Srila Prabhupada tells us in one class, basically, I had a question for many years, I asked many devotees, but nobody could really give me a clear explanation. The question was that, because it seemed there was some contradiction in Shastra. It says that if you drink one time, Vishnu Sarovar-India, you don't take burden of the world again. If you chant your name even one time, jokingly, you don't take burden of the world again. But many acharyas are telling us, as long as you have mental attachment, you take burden. As Srila Prabhupada Acharya telling us, whatever level of consciousness you achieve in this life, you will start from the next life, when you be taking birth. So it seems to be, that's why if I take Vishnu Sarovar-India, then I'm not taking birth material, but because I'm still not attached, so where do I take birth? Where do I take birth? So Prabhupada basically in 3 lectures, in Vrindavan in 72, he speaks about those things. He said, in one class he's speaking to the audience and he says, why do you think there's so many pigs and monkeys in Vrindavan? He said, it may not be very nice, but anybody that's entering the process of devotional service, doesn't matter where in the world, if it externally they're behaving like Vaishnava, but internally contemplating sense enjoyment, then they will be taking birth and pride as a pig or monkey. Because in their mind, they were contemplating enjoying the senses like a pig or monkey, to be unrestrictive. So they would Krishna giving you a chance to do this. But by Krishna's kindness, it's only for one life. Because in that from a human platform, if you were to go down to an animal platform outside Raj, you would have to go to the 8 million foreign space of life before you can become a human being. It's a long time. But by Krishna's grace, this is only for one life. And then, more or less, by the influence of the Dhamma, this unrooted will be removed. Then you'll be taking birth as a human being in Braj, in this Braj. And then, according to the association you will get, you will progress, you will go back in your consciousness, because basically it's based on an association. Somebody bad associated from memory in their life. But they know they're going to Krishna. This they know. But like us, they have the same problem, all the material attachment stuff in them. But they in their heart, they understand they're going to Krishna. So really actually I always saying time pass. I'm already passing the time. But they know it's guaranteed. If we take many lives, it's guaranteed going to Krishna. But all this like us, they have good association, they behave in life. And then like me, some suffering, some struggle. Because the Vijayadasi, like us, they're still under the influence of the moment. You meet some Vijayadasi, they're liberated, they're rare. Most of the Vijayadasi, they're like us, they're still conditioned soul. Vijayadasi would say they're one step ahead of us. Our next life, the energy will be going in the graph. If we have some attraction to be with Krishna. So coming back to that contradiction I was speaking earlier, there is 4 dhammas in the material world, but they're not the material world. Each one of those dhammas actually a manifestation of the spiritual world. So if I bring Vishnu Sarovar-India, chanting the name jokingly, I will not be taking birth in the material world, but I will be taking birth in one of those dhammas. And because I have material attachment, I will take birth, but in one of those dhammas. If I have some attraction to Mother Krishna, it's most likely I'll be born in Raj. But I would have to stay with Raj until basically there's only that one desire in our environment activity, our existence dedicated to bring that level. And when this actually has become the reality in my life, to some other to endeavor to please them, it's like in our life there's been occasion where to help somebody, either a friend, somebody who went out of our way to help somebody. It is going out of our way has to become our permanent and eternal state of consciousness, to go out of our way to please them. So basically, if I come to this level, I only have that one desire, then at that time also I will have developed some, like I said earlier, some attraction, some affinity to another wrestler. So if it is to be a Gopa, then I'm going to be taking birth in that Gokul, Vrindavan, where Krishna is now. Because Prabhupada tells us in the few lectures, once you take birth in Vrindavan, this is your last birth. But it has to be the Vrindavan where Krishna is now. If you are in the upper category, Vrindavan, then you have to take many births until you come to that point. But once you come to this point, you take one last birth, that Prakat Leader, universe where Krishna is. And there basically we will get our last training. Like I said earlier, Bhakti is simply love and emotional exchange. Krishna is devotee. So if I have desire, affinity, Asi or Madhumangal, Sriram, Subal, and all the core glory, like it's such like of all the rest of us, it's the most anxiety aspect. The Gopa, they are enjoying Krishna. The Gopis are, it's an mentality there, but like anxiety to do with Krishna, and this one will always worry about Krishna, but the Gopa, they don't enjoy Krishna. So anyway, so if this is my desire, as I read in those pastimes, and I feel like some deep emotion in my heart, and I feel it's actually all I'm trying to serve Krishna in this way. But then I will be taking birth in the family of Gopa. And who's going to be my associate? Krishna Nityasudha Gopa. Krishna is there, so his eternal associate are there, so the Nityasudha Gopa are there. So they will be my associate. And a little child grows up, he learns how to behave socially, emotionally, in various different duty service. Then I will learn how to see. And this is my last birth. And after this, it's up to Krishna. It doesn't really matter. He can send me to Golok to do some service there for him. He can send me to any of the Gopal Vrindavan to do service. But from that point on, my consciousness will never be continued. I will become Krishna's eternal loving servant. So, so then going back to everything that was said until now, basically, if we want to progress spiritually, first step, one of the main approach, we should be hearing constantly. Second approach, we have to come to goodness. Because as long as we're on the indifference, Rajagum, Tamagum, that's been given will stay in our heart, usually we'll be nourishing into attachment. So now let's show you clear on this. First we have to come to goodness. And then a third approach is association. If we want to progress, we actually have to be very, not fanatic, but at the same time careful who we associate with. Yes, because I've seen many times devotees in the temple, but they don't really have friendship with devotees. They go outside to get friendship. But if this friendship is not based on Krishna consciousness, it's like, cut it my own throat. Because basically, like some people explain actually, what is association? Association takes place when there is emotional exchange. Emotion is door to the heart, both spiritually and materially. So when I'm dealing with people in this world, if I'm associating with Vaishnava, there's some emotional exchange. Because the consciousness is on a high platform, because there's some emotion, my heart opens, and this high consciousness into my heart. But if I associate with people on a lower platform of consciousness, and there's some emotional exchange, then the contamination into my heart. Then I would have to chant around to remove this contamination. On top of my own contamination, now I got other people's contamination into my heart. That's why, because one of the reasons we're not getting a taste of chanting your name, because we only chanting 16 rounds, then most of the power of our chanting is used to remove our daily contamination. Our own contamination and contamination coming from other people. So, as a rule, when we approach what I call the common people in this world, we should only approach them to engage them in Krishna service and give them a chance to evolve Krishna. Definitely, you could say other motivation, and this guarantee my confidence in people that I have no choice in the matter. So at the same time, we cannot be fanatic, but at the same time, we should understand this principle of association. Otherwise, we will also not progress. Like I said, the power of our chanting will be only used to remove this big religion. I remember years ago when I was doing pre-crown, at the time I was chanting 2 nights a day. But I could see every day so much garbage from my life. And one day I see one day, he couldn't understand my feeling. I was there at one shop and he said, see this carpet, everything you have to do. And another really guy told me, he said, yeah, you chanting 2 lakh a day, but on that, 1 lakh is only to remove the effect of your offenses. So if we only chanting 60 rounds, then that's why we don't get it. Baptist Center was declared told us and when we should chant minimum 64 rounds, 1 lakh a day. He said, those who cannot do this, and this consider them to be on the platform in the animal. Even if we are taking picture, even if we try to follow the religious principle, but if our consciousness is mainly already contemplating to fulfill the full propensity of the human being, then we don't even do an animal. So that's what it takes very much beyond this 1 lakh to bring us to the platform consciousness. Myself, many years, unless I attended 2 lakh, I was not on the platform consciousness. But once the 2 lakh was achieved and my consciousness was grown, I was not even the Krishna was mentioned on my mind. Gradually over the year, I don't have to change back anymore to this platform. But it took me many years chanting to achieve this. Really to dedicate myself only chanting the name of the name. So Prabhupada told us in the beginning movement, we did ask us to chant 64 rounds. More than we conducted. Prabhupada, always with kindness, he told us, okay, we chant the region. And more than we conducted. And he said, okay, 16, but this is minimum, but you should gradually increase to the standards to and more or less on our cycle, in our Eastern society, they would not follow this part of the social. If somebody tried to change 1 lakh a day, this is scary, but it is not very. But we have to understand this chanting of the name is really honorable. If one has a taste in the name, it's such a rare gift of the name. Why should we prevent this concept? I think if you have the state that you will purify it out so quickly, then you can actually do something different for our society. Why try to force him to do something he has no taste for? Which really, because he's not in a very positive attitude. Culture, progress, like Prabhupada told us in the story of Bhajan, you have to fight the crocodile water, but you didn't learn enough to you are becoming weaker and weaker. The spiritual is the same thing. Whatever is more conscious for us to push the consciousness, this we should do. This is the rule for me, main rule. Whatever is for a rule for devotion service, this we should do. What's not for a rule, that will have to know. So, we could say in our society, because we're deviating from this instruction, it's not because it's not a big deviation, but it is a deviation. Prabhupada gave us instruction and but we shouldn't increase until the entire extent. Because if we don't, then it will take a long time for us to progress. Because like I said, there's very minimum. I mean, if you're chanting Sudalama, one name, you have to come and chant it in 1 month. One name, Basically, it takes this much chanting just to bring us from a mundane reality to actually a spiritual reality. Then we will get into chanting the name, then we will actually be able to go from the Bhakti platform to the Guru Bhakti. Because in very simple word, the main difference between Bhakti Bhakti and regular Bhakti is that Bhakti Bhakti is minimal regulation, and I have this intellectual understanding. If I follow all those regulations, this is what I'm achieving. So what I'm doing because I have to. Regular Bhakti, basically, regular Bhakti can start to manifest on the level of attachment to Krishna. And at that point, what I'm doing, not because I have to, because I want to. This is spontaneous devotion. Not I have to, because I want to. I wake up at 2 in the morning, not because I have to. It is giving me a chance to serve the Krishna. All my devotion activity through the day is giving me the opportunity to serve Krishna. Because this service, like I said, this is what I don't have associated with Krishna. If we don't give that this service I can do, we kind of go close to Krishna. And this is what I know back here, basically to give out this, to have this deep understanding of the way service to actually connect people to that Krishna. Actually, I'm able to associate with them, serve them, help them. And to serve somebody, it means to please them. And to please somebody, then you have to understand the activity, the nature, the personality. And that's why all the books on literature actually are very helpful, to describe all those things. And until we actually grasp what's the essence of the relationship between Hare Krishna, we cannot serve it. If I try to serve you, but I know nothing about you, I may do anything for you, but it may not be pleasing to you, because it's not really what you want. So if I want to serve Hare Krishna, then I have to understand what's pleasing to them. And you could say, simple word, Hare Krishna are one. You could say, it's like one soul, two bodies. And Srimati Radharani, she didn't want to do one day. Just make Krishna happy. And Krishna will do one day, just make other reaction. And this takes place in many authoritative emotional actions. There's a pastime, so to me, the Goswami literature includes, because the writing of the Goswami, they also like mantra. Mantra basically means some spiritual world, like Prabhupada is like a window to the spiritual world. If what I'm reading, but not Goswami's book, I'm actually have faith that through this reading I'm actually associating with Goswami. Then I will be able to integrate deeply in the mantra. And this mood that he has will actually create an impression in my heart. So these people Goswami, and you are Acharya, we have this faith actually that we're actually associating with this person. In fact, no Thakur tells us, from book you can get knowledge, but acting you can only get from the practice. I was giving class a couple weeks ago, one day with me, he says to me, from book you can also get bhakti. I said, yes, you can also get bhakti, but you have to have the ability to perceive the associating with the person that's written the book. If you only reading the book, but not associating with the person, then you only read the book and you only getting information. But if you actually on the platform, you can actually gain this association, then you will create a deep division in your heart. And this division is their expressing, their feeling toward the Krishna service. And this will create impression, sanskar in your heart, which will make us be able to understand how can I serve them, how can I assist them in the pastime. And until we get, we could say, the comprehension of that essence of the relationship, we cannot enter the pastime. This would be, to say, gradually revealed to us. But the main ingredient, you could say, is Vaishnava association, or our sincere endeavor to want to develop Krishna, to progress spiritually, and to avoid offenses to do. If we can only do those three things, then we can progress much faster. So this sincere endeavor is like Krishna doesn't need nothing from us. Everything belongs to him. So what can we offer him? But one thing we can offer Krishna is that our sincerity, our endeavor is the proof that we want to serve you. This we can offer. And according to how sincere we are, to that extent we will be accepted for us. If the sincerity is not there, then Krishna will not be with us. If we are approaching Krishna and we can fool other people, we can fool ourselves, but we can fool Krishna. He knows the motivation behind our activity. So if we try to fool Krishna, basically I'm doing all those devotional activities, but it's not lazy for my home. As long as it's devotee, because they lack some, you could say, some comprehension, understanding. They try to, without having seva, they try to access the seva. Basically, if you don't have the seva, then you're still seeking something for you. And if you try to approach Krishna for your own sense enjoyment, then you cannot enter it. It's like if you read the Goswami's book that describes the different moons, the Manjari, the Gopi, the Kumbhadvaraka, Kudra, and Mathura. Many devotees now you could say they're trying to become Manjari, but they didn't do the Kudra. They want to enjoy Krishna. They don't want to be better than Krishna, they want to enjoy Krishna. They've been used millions of lives to enjoy. So now they are transferred this attachment toward Krishna, but they want to enjoy Krishna. But as long as this moves, you cannot enjoy Krishna. They eventually, because they are approaching Krishna, they will become purified by the seva bhava activity. Is, we could say, what all has to do make the good. Until we develop this, we can forget about it. And the easiest way to get this seva bhava, especially with those Vaishnavas, we have to seva bhava. It doesn't really matter wherever we are in the world. If we see some Vaishnava, they serve very nicely, they're very humble, but they only here to speak about Krishna. Nothing else. These Vaishnavas, we should hear from them and we should speak to them. Because they have something, and they will give it. Vaishnava is very compassionate. If we associate with them, actually the spiritual benefit we get is we cannot comprehend. So this would be our aim to always try to get good lifestyle. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Also told that once somebody gets the human body in Vrindavan, this Vrindavan, so he never come back to the material world.
No, he may go out of that, but from what I understand, he will be taking burden back again. Many villages now are going outside the raft for work and money. They're going here, but they're going outside.
Okay, this is one of the class. What about these Vrajavasis who decides to live outside of Vraja?
But there's one thing you have to understand, that you'll be living outside of raft, but it's actually the including that. That have especially with the rest be working because having to support the family, they go outside to work, but they increase the money in the back of the raft. they would be active. Because in the heart, you never have God. God is always in the heart, always in the mind. But because outside external circumstances, many because they don't have full faith in Krishna, they put that in a station where they have to go to Yahweh to make their mind slow down. But in the heart, they need to be active.
Always.
But most of the people I see that I know that went outside and they need, yes. They really sound, but as a rule, 90% of the ones that I know that have yet this thing free to be here, they can be back. But they can feel the difference, they're not stupid. I mean, the difference is we're here to live outside the boundaries, big difference. Here, if you try to progress spiritually, you're swimming in the river. You go outside the boundaries, you're swimming in the river. It's not easy. And my way is there, but it's nothing compared to what's in the rest of the world. Even in India right now, consciousness has to be so much in that India. It's not much different from the Western world. So those people who see that have to go outside the crowd, they cry in the heart to that. And they would be that next life, a different life. And maybe they would have, it took gifts to get them to get some meditation. Ultimately, we have, like Thakur explained, we have to come to the point of zero discrimination. Like we have to see whether Krishna is beyond everything. So maybe this jiva's specific desire, so Krishna fulfilled all desire, but for his devotee, he will fulfill the desire in such a way that they will get liberation, but they will not never want to desire discrimination. Krishna is not ready to them to do all those things, but when they are away, they understand their foolishness. But now they caught in the drama, in the sickness, and they have to go to. And most of them, they're praying, okay, when my children are ready, then I can come back to that and make my body. Some are able to do, some are not able to, some of them do less, die outside the grass. But it doesn't really matter where you die. That's all part of that. Even if you simply doing the process of the service is you be born in one of the four dhammas. If you have something created for Hare Krishna, most likely you be born in Braj. So what's the again? They already achieved this food. But they will have to come back to this Braj until they will fully dedicate their existence to Hare Krishna. It's like many years ago, my organization was that most of the Vasi were either Sakaras or Sakaras. But most of the Vasi actually don't. They either worship you or Gopal. Maybe you should do that regularly. Those in contact with the Padaya, the Bhajan Padaya, they worship Krishna. But 99% of the Vasi is Gopal to do that. But they really that's Sakaras. But now with activity with the Vasi, I can see they're not even there. Most of them actually Sankara. They recognize the existence of God, Krishna is God, but they still Seva Bhava is not there. Some attraction toward Krishna is there, that's why they take him further. But Seva Bhava is not there. And as long as the Seva Bhava is not developed, they would have to figure it again and again with the same that. We will again have to come back again and again until the Seva achieves them, like Seva Union, and Krishna. This pure devotional service can only be done with spiritual power. What we're doing right now is a devotional activity that is to gradually purify our hearts so we can realize the spiritual brothers. And from that platform, we can have a spiritual service.
And then you thought about the 64 rounds and then you spoke about the 64 rounds.
64.
Yes, I want to ask you, so as personal experience, is it possible to chant 64 rounds and preach and do all activities? Or is it sadhana like the Babajis, like Haridas Thakur, they're saying, is it possible?
Yes.
Was possible for you?
It's possible for me. For 6 months in my life, watching people 4.5 times a day, I did prayer camp. And after I went back down to 3 laps, And when I became Pujari, I've been chanting minimum 1 lakh. Sometimes if I move project, I'm chanting 2 lakhs a day. I'm doing all the same thing. But it's more devotee because they not attentive. It takes them a long time to chant the Lord. More devotee to chant 16 rounds, 24 hours. It doesn't take that. If you're actually very concentrated, you can do 16 rounds in 1 hour. I chant 16 rounds half an hour. And sometimes I can do the first lag typically is 25-30 minutes. And when I go to the second lag, if I did not do any simple activity or apparat, the second lag I can chant basically in basically 1 lag in 1 hour 15 minutes. It's like basically like almost like 1 round a minute. Like 20 minutes to chant 16 rounds. But it's concentration. If you mind, because I heard when Guru teaches chanting, Hare Krishna, round, Hare Hare. So no concentration. The mind is everyone not to tune and this listen to the Maya channel for 1 to 2 minutes and they come back to the Maya. That's why it takes 2 hours to chant the 16 rounds. Prabhupada is some instance, Prabhupada chant, I'm sure chanted 64 rounds a day. If I was in the old day, was writing through the nights. But right now, because I'm writing, I had to keep my GT to 64 a day. But it's like I said, to chant 64 doesn't take that long. Prabhupada also, there's some devotee, they relate, or sometimes Prabhupada, after he was writing, like that night, we were going to chant. And this creep Prabhupada was chanting, they couldn't believe it. But people say it's mystical. But how can you chant? Like if you chant 16 rounds in 20 minutes, like 1 round a minute. It's like 1 day, not sure about it. It's all possible. But it's happening. I cannot explain how it's happening, but it is happening. And I'm not the only one. I know some other people that can maybe not 20 minutes, but 16 rounds you can spend that hour. I knew this mentally from the research, but she did actually, she took care of her family, she took care of her group, she was making it to that together. But not wasting any time. We're actually wasting so much time. And while you're chanting, if you can concentrate it without you can do this really. If you're not concentrating, it will take you a long time to chant in 16 minutes. It's also, like Krishna says, constant practice. Basically, when I first came to Kusum Sarovar, because I could understand, the only thing I got left is devotion. So then I saw the name as my guru. It seems to indicate body, mind, and soul to guru. So I did always do something. I said, okay, I'm only going to change the name. At the time I was already changing more than my life. I said, okay, I will go back 16 rounds to make sure I hear it. I went back to 16 rounds and gradually back to 32, back to 64. And then I come to the grade to the platform at 1 lakh and a half. And I couldn't go any more than this. One time in my life in Guru could be watching at 3 lakhs, but it was like, wasn't a mistake. The first 2 lakhs was the last lakh was down. So then anyway, then one day, I got one that he told me, well, if you only move the lip without making any sound, we can increase the speed of your chanting. It's actually bona fide. Haridas Thakur used to chant the name in 3 words. Making sound, only moving the lip, and same time. It did not take 24 hours for Haridas Thakur to chant this like. Every day he would feast and took her time in Prabhu. Every night, Haridas Thakur house. And the evening we would preach 3-4 hours in chant Prabhu. In that day, we played 8-10 hours, doing another 2 words chant. Well, not taking it apart. Most people are under and questioning when they had just 24 hours just that. They did not take it that long. Like the all night was going to that much. And evening time, 2-3 hours preaching in Canada. But it's I think I don't know which Acharya really described that. In the same thing we had two qualities. One, basically, you will chant some Ramadan, some you will only chant with the lips, and then when you do the chant, and do it. There's also another way you can chant, like when you chant Gayatri, you only chant in your heart. You can also chant in that way, but it requires very concentration. But anyway, what happened when I started to chant, you know, like this, just moving the lips. Then maybe for a month or two, I was still on the way like 1.5 lakhs, and maybe sometimes 10, 15 more. Then one day, just like this. Now I would 2 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 3.5 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 1.5 lakhs. For 6 months, I was chanting 4.5 lakhs a day. And then Kartik month came. I said, okay, what's the picture out? I wish I 5 lakhs a day for Kartik month. And I started, no problem, Krishna was dancing on my top. And then one Prabhupada disciple from Canada came. And I built a house for him in Canada. We never dreamed of one. I met him, and we started talking about this, and I became angry. And I came to this. So the first 2 weeks of Kartik, Krishna was dancing on my top. The second 5 days was nothing. The last 2 weeks was the hardest history to ever get in my life. And after 2 weeks, my mind was totally fried. It took me about 2.5 years to get a taste of the again. Now this is a little attachment to your own life. And I'm going to do it. And that's the truth within 2.5 years. And after this, I could only chant 1 lakh, and I could not chant just maybe a bit anymore. I started to chant, making sound again. But it took me just not 2.5 years just to get to chant, again. And gradually, I got a taste. And then something happened. I was able to chant the name fast, and every fast moving, making sound and just moving it. And since then, basically, if I'm sitting, I make sound. If I go to the ground, then I don't make it. But if I sit with the other chant going around, but sitting down, and I'm making sound. So it's possible. It's not possible, it's possible, but we have, like I said, this is what I really want to do. And I understand this is what I have to do to go to Krishna. This is what we purify. And this is the yoga dharma, this is the medicine. All of the things that help us in devotional life, and that's whatever else you do in devotional life, it should be accompanied with a chanting in your life. Then you will benefit. So whatever we may do, we should chant. And when we work in one thing, we can chant sing. Another thing, I don't chant my mantra, sing my mantra. When I chant, you could say, when I chant the name, I'm singing my mantra, I'm not chanting. Since the beginning, you could say, I joined Krishna consciousness. I've been not with the devotee for 15 years, but I'm Prabhupada, I started chanting, I'm like Gandhi, and whatever I was chanting on that. And it was like very steady, no problem. And so this sounds far from previous life. In the previous life, I was already a devotee, I was already chanting probably 2 to that's it. So that's why it was not difficult for me to go that level again in this life. But, like I say, I'm saying, different melody according to my mood, emotion. If I'm in a good mood, my singing is very happy. I'm crying, my singing is very crying and everything. But this helped me to get connected with my change. Some emotion, some mood is there. If we don't have this mood, this bad we're changing, and that is mechanical. We have no intensity of our changing is not so strong. If we have no impetus to be with Krishna, then what is our stimulation and changing? It's like a diseased person, he goes to the doctor, he understands, okay, I have to change my diet and I have to take this medicine. And you understand if he doesn't do those 2 things, he will not get better. So changing our diet basically is to change the nature of activities. Basically changing consciousness. Like somebody may be a painter, he's painting to make money so he can feed his belly and support his family. But the same person, when the painter can paint picture, beautiful painter, or the Krishna to paint the Krishna, so the devotee can like that. It's the same activities, for consciousness is different. This is change value. From doing materially conscious activity, we have to do spirituality conscious. The activity can be the same, but we have to change the motivation behind our activities. So this is that, and medicine is here.
And what does it mean to change the 64 rounds? Means to change 64 rounds plus other stuff, or you can change at the same time. Sometimes you see some gurus or Rabashis or some that they are talking or give lectures and stop and should. How this 64 is completely apart.
Ideally, we should sit in a single place. But if you engage in meditating, because I mean, there are instances in our reference in our Shastra where the even when the female devotee, she attended class and she was chanting and the speaker became very offended. She said, I gotta control my tongue, how we can do it. So anyway, so basically, it's better if we can sit in a single place, but also when many people come here, I don't have time to sit down, shut my room in one place sitting. So when I go to other room, and I shut my room there, sometimes I'm talking to people, I'm chanting my room, but I can speak with people, and I can turn around at the same time.
But you count this as your lack, or this is extra?
Like I said, ideally we should sit down and sit to the place and chat around. But sometimes we may have to chat around in other circumstances. It's not wrong, but ideally that's what we should do. But then we can concentrate on giving the name. Like if I like I say, I have the ability, I can speak with you, change your name, and give your name. But maybe not everybody can do this. So if you can do that, no problem. But if you change there, you're not really giving the name. Some benefit is there, but it's not as good as you can actually give the name.
And what about to have this type like a sadhya emotion, friendship emotion, but at the same time don't identify yourself with the gopas, but identify yourself as, for example, a servant of one gopi.
One is the gopi.
Yes, that is not directly connected with Krishna's amorous pastime,
but actually, this is our position. I will tell that the servant, the servant, the servant. This basically means that Krishna has like his eternal associate. So they are with him. And the position basically in Golo is also there's three sources of Jiva. One source is in Golo, one is at Uddhav, and then there's Takasa Shakti. So the Nitya devotee, that's the direct expansion of Krishna. They don't different. Then there's another quality that Jiva in Golo, Balaram, they coming from Balaram, there's billions of them, but they are assisting Krishna the pastime. They're serving the Nitya who are serving Krishna. And from what Mother Prabhupada and Sadhas, we're going to be serving those who are serving the Nitya. Basically, we have to understand that in the spiritual world, to think to be with Krishna is not different than being with Krishna. That's more or less what Narada would mean by service and separation. Any little service you do without devotion to Krishna is actually allowing you to associate with Krishna. So, I may be a Gopal, I'll be assisting some of the Gopas serving Krishna. We give you some service to do. Maybe some flowers, some berries, you gotta need some color to Krishna's body. making some garden, cleaning Krishna's cloth, cleaning the puja, whatever. But while I'm doing this activity, my whole concentration is on Krishna. And this, at that time, I'm associated with Krishna. Sometimes my group leader may arrange and I meet, you could say, in some official way, Krishna directly, and I have some direct exchange with Krishna. But as a rule, would be serving in separation in the spiritual world. But this, like I said, this separation is no different than serving Krishna. It's actually, the union and separation is more intense than actual union. Because when I'm in separation from somebody, then the anticipation, the anchoring increase the relationship. So, but like I say, in the spiritual world, you think doing Krishna is not different than being Krishna. But because this intense state is there, actually the intense state and the union is greater in separation than the everything.
The question is, how is it possible that you identify yourself as friends of Krishna? But like the emotion, but at the service you are serving a gopi who is serving another Krishna. How is it
Well,
possible?
I mean, as a rule, if you're Gopa, you're going to be serving the Gopa. Unless you're one of the three or numbers of Krishna, because most of the Gopa don't have too much to do with the gopi. The pastime is a different pastime. There's a few pastimes that the Gopa, they usually go with the gopi, but as a rule, it's like the gopi, they never see Krishna drinking milk from a leadership. They always see Krishna as Kishore. They never see Krishna in the aspect of the Gopa Krishna. So the Gopa, they see Krishna as one of their friends, the forest, chasing the cow and all this. They don't really mingle too much with the gopi pastime, and the gopi, they don't mingle too much with the Gopa. Their whole mood is to how we remember Krishna and one of them to arrange for meeting with him. Like this many, you could say, they call them many groups. Basically, Radharani has one group, Chandravali has one group, and each one of Radharani Astasaki, they also have one group, but they dedicate the service of the group to the Radharani. It could be independent, like Chandravali, Panno, and Satya and all that, but they choose to dedicate the whole majority to bring them together. So basically, there are some pastimes with the Gopa, may go with the gopi like old age, different things, but as a rule there's no, because it's rasadas. It's different emotion, you cannot mix together. You know the term of rasadas? Basically some emotion are not compatible with other emotion. They don't fit together. You will not create a favorable situation for rasa. Rasa, you could say, is like when some loving emotional exchange takes place between Krishna and his devotee. There's, you could say, emotion is the river in which rasa can flow between Krishna and his devotee. And that's why I guess you can, actually you cannot define rasa into words. It can only be experienced. But roughly you can say that rasa is the happiness, the ecstasy, the love you will feel in your heart while you are exchanging with Krishna. This is what rasa is. And it can only take place when there is loving emotion. Like I say, emotion is the river in which rasa can flow between Krishna and love. But some of these emotions, if you were to mix them with some of the emotion, the result is going to be favorable. So Prabhu was very careful to wear any. Many people would bring compose some pastime and some of them are ruchya, so they would not be rasadas. Because if rasadas is there, then rasa cannot flow. So the gopi, they have the rasa of Krishna, the Gopa, they have Nanda Baba, they have the Gopi, they have the servant they have the mood. And Santaras basically, Santaras cannot be in the pure form in Golo. Because Santaras basically means, this is Krishna is a jiva who desires to serve. But in Golo, the Santaras is present, but it's combined either with Satyaras, Vachalyaras, Udasaras. It's not pure. But Santaras is basically in Golo, like the bird, the tree, the cow, the mountain, the river, there is Santaras. But the cow, they have a feeling, parental mood towards Krishna. They like Krishna to be good, they like to do as they were his mother. So it's mixed with parental mood. And all the jiva there, the three flowers, they put a same flower like in the mood of service to Krishna. So they mix with Dasaras. Some of them want to make like friend, like some Krishna's very awesome, some cloud came over in shadow, so this is friendship. The cloud like a friend of Krishna, sometimes the thunder came and he becomes afraid. And the cloud has become Krishna's friend. Because it's creating a situation where Radharani can go to Krishna. So when Santaras is mixed with one of the rasa, but each rasa cannot really mix with the other rasa. It will not create I mean, it's like if when you're cooking, something goes well together, but you try to mix together, when you're painting, some colors go very nice together, but some colors don't go together at all. Individually, in other circumstances, they may be very beautiful, but next to one side of the color, it's just not very pleasing. So that's all like this. Some emotion, basically, to fully develop, they have to be like this peaceful condition. And all this is there, and that's what they have to do. Basically, they participate in the way, like I say, each Uttavari has many main servants. Uttavari is Gopi, like Sanaragi is Gopi, like Tisaki, they have many second, many servants, like all the Manjari, basically in Goja Sampradaya, another part, basically, and also in this part, we're following the Tasaki, we follow Rupa Manjari, which is the group, and the group are in Tasaki. Rabindranath Das Goswami is the only one of the Goswami using the group of Shaka. Like myself, I'm the guru of Shaka, I'm not the Tasaki. I'm very Shaka Devi, not the Tasaki. But most of the devotees in Govind they go on to the shelter of Rupa Manjari. So Rupa Manjari is one of the many Manjari assisting the Tasaki and serving Krishna. And sometimes the detail may arrange that Rupa Manjari with Krishna together. But we're going to be a maid servant to them. And sometimes also by the arrangement, they may arrange to meet Radha Krishna directly, some direct exchange with Krishna. But most of the time we'll be doing some service, bring some message, some family from the Damila, which is Krishna, who basically preparing some nice garden, so trying to everything give to Krishna. So I will be doing some menial service. But this service, like I say, because my aim is to please Bihari Krishna, and naturally I'm with Krishna in separation. As to think to be with Krishna, we don't depend on being with Krishna. This thing, because there's many categories of Seki also. Basically, Manjari means little girl that doesn't get older than 12, 13 years old maximum. But above this, between 13 and 17, 18, there's many qualities. And most of them, we can become one of them also. It's not necessarily we can become one somewhere, yes, we can become Seki also. But as a rule, I would be in the group of one of the main gopis, that is actually Krishna, and I will be assisting her to be with Krishna. Manjari, one of the people of the Seki, my function is to assist my Uttavari to be with Krishna, to make all arrangements that she can be happy while she's with Krishna. And whatever service that may involve, I'm Then this is my meditation also. Or you have to understand also in this spiritual world, there is no path to time in future. There's no influence of time. It's like Guru is a very complex reality. Like Krishna is creating with billions and billions and billions of jiva, and it's all happening eternally and simultaneously. Like let's say Radharani and a second. Now we're having this conversation. This conversation will be taking place eternally. Tomorrow we'll be having another conversation. It will also be happening eternally and simultaneously with the conversation we're having yesterday. And this is one jiva of Radharani. And there's billions of jiva of Radharani entertaining it. It's all happening eternally and simultaneously. The life is very complex. So, but they are all serving Radha Krishna, they are all assisting Radha Krishna. The Gopal, basically, main focus of the Gopal is to please Krishna. They don't have to do much with Radharani. Just they want the Kriya Namaskar, like Manjana, Shiva, Siddha. Then they assist Krishna in the pastime with the Gopal. As Kusum Sarovar-India is like the gate to Radha Krishna. The Bhajan and the Gopal, they don't go closer to Radha Krishna. Brahma, Imamgali go there, Shiva go there, Shiva go there, and a few other, like Krishna, like, yeah, so they're assisting Krishna in his infinite pastime with the Guru. But these are few. When you take the cycle, basically, they play with Krishna in the forest, different pastimes, but they're not into this movement. They have no perception of that really. They see Krishna as this, they cannot see Krishna as a lover of their life. It's a different man to them, they have no access. And there's billions of jiva below, each one of them is interchanging with Krishna, but he's not aware of the other billions of jiva interchanging with Krishna. He's only aware of his reality now with Krishna. That's all he's aware. That's why the rest of cannot mix. Like Prabhupada said, when you get there, you will see. Because like Abhijacharya telling us, like some type of most of his books say, it's only when we're willing to that reality, then we really realize what it is. Because nobody can really describe what that really is. That's what we're doing. They're giving us example compared to this and that, but it's only when you do that reality that you can actually have the real thing. It's like I can tell you, only takes like this, takes like this, takes like this, but until you tell them all the description won't mean too much to you. If you have taste, it's like caramel, other things, yeah, okay, we see where it is, but until you taste that, then you will not know what actually it tastes like. So spirituality is like this, we can speak about it, but until we enter that reality, we cannot really grasp what our present state of consciousness. Because it's actually more comprehensive to try to imagine the spiritual world with our little mind. We cannot, and it's people, it's guaranteed. If I have these glasses, if it's a clear glass, and I look through, and what I see is what it is. There's no alteration. But if the glass is yellow, whatever we see through, we see some yellow tint. So if I have some mental attachment, whatever they may be, and I try to perceive the spirituality, it will all be contaminated with this attachment. I cannot perceive the right thing. That's why Acharya telling us, you should only hear who speak Prabhupada, some people say Prabhupada did not speak about all this and that. Prabhupada did speak about this, he's giving out all the information. But one thing he told us, he says, some people say I don't speak about Radha Krishna in the pastime. He said mainly those pastimes should only be discussed between the greatest souls. Then he said a few more things. Then he says, well, I'm looking forward to the day when we become that far and I can talk to you about it. Like it's not that you get one last thing to speak about those things, but when you're ready. Another class he says, yes, you can read about meditation in the past time. But if you become agitated or meditative, you put the book down and you wait another couple of years. And maybe you do it. But if you can read and become agitated, you should read. Because this reading in the time will create a bond between Krishna and attraction towards the pastime. If you're not agitated, meaning you have very much true from less desire. If you become agitated, meaning you still have your heart for the less desire. And you try to comprehend that reality with your less desire, and it's offenses. Prabhupada tells us, first we have to realize who we are spiritually, then we can understand Krishna. Basically, if I'm still seeing myself as I'm not bodily platform, then I will also understand Krishna to have a material body, when having a material body, and they are having a mundane affair. But they're not having a mundane affair. Like I said earlier, most of the exchanges we had in European Krishna is 99% verbal exchange. That's all it is, verbal exchange, emotional, the verbal exchange. There's a few contact in there, but 90% is only verbal exchange. Like Prabhupada tells us in the spiritual world, there is kissing, there is embracing, but there is no sex life. He said they have something higher, but there is no requirement for the sex life. Embracing is there, kissing is there, touching is there, but no sex life. But our perception having a relationship with the opposite sex accumulated into sex life. So we start to think about it in the past time, that they're having sex, that is something exists. And we will develop the moment in that we're going to increase our attachment to want to do it. That's why many people are having problems. They're not ready to enter this level, and they're jumping ahead before they're ready. Like I say, until you have Seva, you cannot enter this level. If you don't have Seva, you start getting it, then you're doing things for your enjoyment, you're not doing it for Krishna. But if you have the Seva, then you have all you can feel. We have this doing meditation in our past. And I'm still in the enjoyer mentality, then I will try to spread Krishna into something I can enjoy out of that. Whether it's on intellectual, whatever it may be, but I enjoy reading about this. It's not that I want to bring it better, I want to enjoy it. It's giving me some subtle sense of gratification.
Jai Shri Radha.
Very nice. Beautiful name. Kirtan is the life of the devotee. No Kirtan, the devotee is life of no version. If I didn't do Kirtan, I'd be crazy right now.